there needs to be games for the console. Capiche? 0.1 second to realise that there is no games. The issue for me is, and I'm comparing it to them because I'm not going to compare this to a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch because that would possibly be offensive to those other consoles. I think people underestimate me and think that I'm gonna, you know, it's good. To be quite honest, I had to take a break because nobody, nope, no, absolutely not.
Help me! Help me!
Hi homies, welcome back to the channel. Soulja Boy up in that, oh watch me crank it, watch me roll, watch me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that oh now watch me, you are here today watching me review the Soulja Boy console. So if you have me on Instagram or Twitter, you would know that I was sent the Soulja Boy console by Soulja Boy himself and also the founder of the console, TRDR. Now apparently, this isn't Soulja Boy's console. He's just a mere promoter of the console itself. However, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit makes me think is possibly Soulja Boy's console. However, it's been called the TRDR and there also is a founder behind it to kind of give Soulja Boy a chance in the gaming industry. Because we all know Soulja Boy likes games. Soulja Boy's tried to release a games console, it didn't do well. So if he was to put his whole name onto this console, it would be a bad business move, wouldn't it? Now, providing the evidence, Soulja Boy has got some part to play in this console and everyone knows this as the new Soulja Boy console. I just want to get into the meat and the potatoes. I've got some spicy B-roll throughout this video, so get your snacks, get your drinks, and we're in for a treat, aren't we? Aren't we, homies? We're in for a treat. So the design of the console itself, as you can see, I have the blue one, there is the Soulja Boy red, there is a yellow, and there also is a white. I can't actually bash the look of this console because I do personally think it's kind of cute. I like the way it looks. In terms of the materials made, I do think for the price point there could have been better materials for a nearly £300 console. However, the design at a glance, it's cute, it's a nice little console. Now, I would be a really bad, a really disgusting, a really creator if I wasn't to just do the comparison. This looks a lot like the Retroid Pocket, which is a retro emulator made in China, which you can get for about $90, I believe, £60. So there is a very big similarity. However, I am aware that there is differences, which I will go over. And again, in terms of quality, I think the branding on the back and the front, I wouldn't say it was particularly £300 worth of console here. At a glance, not looking at the insides, what is different is the touch screen. It's a 3.5 inch touch screen. I would again like to point out the Retroid Pocket doesn't have a touch screen, but how good is the touch screen on this console? I'm gonna tell you. 6 buttons to the right. On the left there is a joystick and a D-pad. We also have home, select and start buttons at the bottom. We also have the little speaker right here, a power button, a SIM card slot at the top, as well as your charging ports, no USB-C, I just like to point that out, and a headphone jack. We also get some cute blue headphones to go with this as well. And the headphone quality, that's what I've got to say, it's questionable. I'd say they were worth a couple of pounds, but again, they didn't have to include them, and they did. We have the TRDR on the back and the TRDR on the front. It's very, very, very faded, and it is quite faded, and I'm not particularly sure how long the branding is going to last. Okay, so I think this is what you're all here for, and that is the specs of the console itself. Now, there is a 3.5-inch display, touch screen display, and it is using the Helio P60. Also got a 400 mAh battery. The mAh is very strong for this little thing. 3GB RAM, it runs on Android 10, and it also has Bluetooth 4.0. As you can see by the specs, there is punch to this pocket. Now, what you're all here for, my actual impressions. We've gone over the specs, we've gone over how it looks. Now let's get on to the meat and the potatoes. I'm a gamer. I play the games on every console, so I'm going to be reviewing this as a gamer. Now, first thing you do is you turn it on. It boots up in seconds. It's quickety quick, which I did expect with the specs. The first thing you see on the front, you don't see TRDR, you see the phrase Go Games, which is the same as a lot of these other consoles from China for a quarter of the price. And it also comes up with Android. So this is an Android system within itself. They haven't got rid of the fact that this is purely an Android little handheld tablet system game console, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. I nearly lost my mind. I lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time when setting this thing up because, just breathe, son, breathe. Due to the placement of the buttons and the touchscreen not working together, they hated each other. They were getting a divorce. So trying to set this thing up with Wi-Fi took about half an hour. Honestly, the touchscreen is really temperamental. Like, you have to, first of all, you have to be like, for some parts for it to work, like you really have to press down a lot for some parts of this thing to even work. Sorry, it's getting hot in here for the sake of your flamingos. And also with the touchscreen being so small, you obviously have to put in your Wi-Fi password, right? Have you ever tried using a tiny screen with a tiny keyboard in it to press things? My hands aren't tiny, they're not big, they're like average size, but I couldn't press the buttons and it wouldn't let me use these keypads to actually put in the Wi-Fi password. So it took about 20 minutes, and don't even get me started on signing in to Google. I made my own a new account, a new Google account, so I could sign into Android because I don't know where my password's gonna go, and I'm very, you know, it's a new console. So I made a new account and I made it as simple as possible because it was so much hard work to use this to put in your email address, password, etc, etc. I would also like to add, while searching for games and stuff, and you type in, it switches from Chinese to English a lot, and it's really frustrating because I can't read Chinese, you know? So it's frustrating when I'm trying to type in English and it comes up Chinese. To be quite honest, I had to take a break because it's getting very, very frustrated. So the setup took me about an hour because obviously I had to make a new account. It took me ages to type in. The screen was glitching out and I couldn't particularly use the touchscreen really well. But once you're past that section of this console, you can start to use it properly. I think people underestimate me and think that I'm gonna, you know, review this as someone who's never touched a game in my life. That's not true. As someone who has a plethora of different consoles, it's really important for me to have games on my console. So once I finally got in, it took me 0.1 second to realise that there is no games for the TRDR console. Like there's no games. I don't know about you, Timothy, Nigel, but when I get a gaming console, I expect there to be specific games. For instance, PlayStation, we have PlayStation games. Xbox, we have the Xbox games. Nintendo, we have specific Nintendo games. So if you're going to bring something out and label it a gaming console, there needs to be specific games for the console. So I'm expecting to see some TRDR exclusive download games on the App Store at some point, but at the minute, there isn't any games. When you boot it up, there is no games installed. I know for a fact with the Retroid Pocket, when you boot them up, there is games on there which have been illegally placed on there, ROMs, emulators, retro games were put on the China versions. However, on this version there is absolutely no games and you have to rely on the Android store. Hence why for me it's a reach to call it a game console, and they've left it completely open, I guess, for people to do illegal naughty things on this baby. Now, as SOULJA BOY has said himself, this console runs Fortnite. I love a bit of Fortnite, shooty duties, and also Among Us. I really like Among Us too. The reason behind this is because this runs Android, so you can go to the App Store and download Android games such as Fortnite and Among Us, and it will also run, again, any retro game that you download and any Android game itself. The issue for me is there is no triggers. Now, I don't know about you, but when I play a shooting game, I expect there to be triggers. Have you ever tried to play a shooty duty on a 3.5-inch screen? Because they're gonna argue the touchscreen, right? They said it was possible. SOULJA BOY, you were right. It's very possible to play it on the screen, and it's not a nice gaming experience, to be fair. Among Us, other Android games, other games on here that don't need triggers, they run really well and the controls are actually really nice to play with. However, what sets this apart from playing the games on your phone, where you can get adaptive triggers and also use your phone like this because it's a bigger screen, that's the issue for me with this console, that there is no games, and the games you play on here you can indeed play on your phone. Now, even though I'm reviewing this as a gamer, we're going to have a look at the other apps. There is so many different apps. Any apps that you want off the Android store, as this is a Android 10 machine, you can download and they do run well. YouTube runs well. Spotify runs well. Netflix runs well. It depends though, do you really want to watch Netflix on a screen like this? Possibly not. But if you want to be away from your mobile phone and you want a console that you can play little games on and not have anyone pester you, and you don't own an iPad, which would be the same price, then I guess it justifies buying a TRDR if you want it for the touchscreen and the high processor. I'm not laughing because I think I'm funny, I'm laughing because I'm awkward. And yeah, I'm trying to do this from a non-bias perspective as well. Okay, so the speaker, it's tinny. It's a bit of a tinny speaker, to be quite honest with you. It's not terrible though. Like for the size of this, it is really not a terrible speaker. But when you're blasting music out, again, my phone does have the better speaker. My iPad does have the better speaker. And I'm comparing it to them because I'm not going to compare this to a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch, because that would possibly be offensive to those other consoles. And this is more of an entry level. I wouldn't say this was for someone that was looking to spend £300. Sorry, I think it's like $250 for a console, because you could buy a Switch, like if you want it solely for games, you know. I play game consoles for games. So when I'm talking about the apps that run well, I myself wouldn't pick up a gaming console to download Netflix. Like, not bothered about Netflix, don't want it on my gaming console. So that brings me on to the battery life of this console. So honestly, it's good. It's really, really good. I've had this thing on for a couple weeks and it's not died. I think it's died once. I've not been playing it a lot, obviously, but the battery life is really good. The display also is really nice. The touchscreen has some issues. I wouldn't say this is the best touchscreen you can buy. And again, the display of this, you open it up and it's simply just like a phone. As you can see here, you've got messages, phone calls. This is the setup of it. So it's literally like having your mobile phone here. To hold it and to have it in your hands, it does feel nice. The buttons are confusing because obviously this was made for true games, like we all know.
My battery went out. My battery went out.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'm back now. Obviously this console, we all know it's similar to the China version of the console. Obviously we know that this was made to emulate games, hence the controls. However, there could have been an upgrade in the sense of taking some buttons out and adding some buttons. If they don't want this to be a Retroid emulator still, then the most important thing was to change the buttons, because the buttons for me are very confusing when playing new games, especially mobile games. As I said, they ran really well, but it wasn't a comfortable gaming experience, to be honest. Again, they could have added the triggers, upgraded the screen even more to make this thing a lot of a better console. Yeah, so again, more could have been done to reach actual gamers. My overall impressions. Now, this thing also has the ability to add your own, what is it called? SIM card. It's called a SIM card. So you can put your own SIM card in it. I tried this, I went out, it used my 4G just fine. Obviously I wasn't able to ring-a-ding-ding or call anyone whilst I was out and about, but it did use the 4G well. I was able to play games using the 4G. It ran smoothly, it ran okay. I honestly have no qualms with it using 4G. It was honestly like a phone without different capabilities. Now overall impressions. Is this aimed at someone who has been playing games for a long time, or who is very much into games, like into them? No. In fact, hell no. It's not. I'm gonna be honest. Just hear me out. No. Nobody, nope. No. There's no limit. Just no, absolutely not. Unless you want to use it for the naughty stuff, the ROMs and everything like that, which this console does not promote. It doesn't promote that. It's not telling you to go and do that. So for me to have actually bought this off my own back, it would have to justify the price tag of $300. Whereas obviously the ones that everyone's comparing it to are priced at $90, which is about £70. And it's similar to this without the new chip and without the touchscreen. And it also has the ability to put your SIM card in it and use 4G and take it out and about with you. Therefore, it is not the same console, it is the same but different. It is, of course, indeed, with the added extras, better than the original. In terms of games, specifically for this console, there is none. Hence, I wouldn't call this a gaming console. SOULJA BOY gaming console. You should have just called it SOULJA BOY tablet. It would have, that would have been really a better thing to do rather than aim this at gamers, because it just doesn't seem super right to do. Of course, you can download whatever you want download on this console. It's really open to download whatever you want. So if you like that, get it. But mostly this reminds me of an Android tablet, streaming films, YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, Android games. For me, for this to be labeled a gaming console, there needs to be games for the console. Capiche? Again, there is key features missing. It could have done with a bigger screen size. It could have also had the triggers, which gamers, we love triggers. We would have liked that. It would have been good to add. I think it needs a change of buttons, because if you're promoting this as something that's not for retro games, it was super hard to navigate around. And the touchscreen with the buttons is just a nightmare. I think there is a market for a console like this, of course. However, aiming it at the gamers like myself, we are not the market for this console, and I think it could have been marketed differently. It was promoted as a tablet that has games, and it's like a starter for playing like the main games like Among Us or mobile games, Fortnite. I'm sorry. Then yes, but I don't think that we can justify this as being for the gamer like myself. Now, as I stated, you can download mobile games that they run well. But as a gamer who has 6 consoles, including retro consoles, 2 and not 1, but 2 gaming PCs, I myself wouldn't reach for this. And I very much appreciate this item being sent to me. If you'd like to make your own decision, make your own discussion on it, the link is in the bio where you can check out the TRDR possible SOULJA Boy console. I know that he has one in red. You guys can buy that, check it out, see what you think of it yourselves. You don't have to take my opinion as face value. I'm only here to tell you what I think. But yes, check it out, links in the bio. Thank you for watching, and we can't leave without the Cyberhooks. Lovely.